I never thought I would be signing divorce papers from a hospital bed. But there I was, 32 years old, barely able to sit up because of the pain shooting down my spine, holding a pen that felt heavier than anything I had ever carried. 7 years of marriage. 7 years of believing in those vows we made, in sickness and in health. Funny how those words meant nothing when it mattered most. The person who betrayed me was not some stranger. She was the woman who slept beside me every single night. Before I begin this story, let me know in the comments where you are watching from today. If this story resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me take you back to when I thought I had the perfect marriage and show you exactly how it all came crashing down. My name is Neil, and I met Megan at a mutual friend's barbecue about 9 years ago. She was working in marketing at the time, and I was a software engineer at a tech company in Phoenix. There was something about the way she laughed that caught my attention from across the yard. We started talking, and honestly, it felt like we had known each other for years. The conversation just flowed. By the end of that night, I had her number, and I could not stop thinking about her. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. It was nothing fancy, just a quiet evening at our favorite restaurant overlooking the city lights. She cried when I got down on one knee. She said yes before I could even finish asking the question. 3 months later, we were married in a small ceremony with close family and friends. It was perfect. She was perfect. At least that is what I believed. For 7 years, we built a life together. We bought a small house in the suburbs of Phoenix, nothing extravagant, but it was ours. We had a little backyard where I would grill on weekends. Megan would make her famous potato salad. We talked about having kids someday, but we both agreed we wanted to be financially stable first. We wanted to do things right. Every evening I would come home from work and Megan would be there. Sometimes she would be cooking dinner. Sometimes she would just be sitting on the couch waiting to hear about my day. We had this routine, this rhythm that felt comfortable and safe. Friday nights were movie nights. Saturdays were for errands and lazy afternoons. Sundays were for family calls and meal prepping for the week ahead. It was not exciting, but it was consistent. It was real. I thought we were building something that would last forever. One thing Megan and I always agreed on was the importance of financial security. Right after we got married, we sat down and created a budget together. We decided that no matter what, we would always have an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. Cars break down. People get sick. Jobs disappear. We wanted to be prepared for whatever might come our way. Every month, we each contributed a portion of our paychecks into a joint savings account. It was not always easy. There were months when money was tight and we had to cut back on other things, but we never touched that fund. It was sacred. After 5 years of consistent saving, we had built up $38,000. That money represented security. It represented peace of mind. It was our safety net for the hard times we hoped would never come. We had one simple rule. The emergency fund was only for true emergencies. Job loss, medical crisis, major home repairs, not vacations, not new furniture, not anything that could wait. Megan understood this. She agreed with this. At least that is what she told me. Every time we reviewed our finances together, she would nod along and say how proud she was of what we had built. I never had any reason to doubt her. About 6 months before everything fell apart, I started having problems with my back. At first, I thought it was just from sitting at my desk too much. I work from home a few days a week, and my posture has never been great. But the pain kept getting worse. It started as a dull ache. Then it became sharp shooting pains that would radiate down my left leg. Some mornings I could barely get out of bed. Megan encouraged me to see a doctor, and I am glad she did. After several appointments and an MRI scan, I got the diagnosis. Herniated disc. And not just a minor one. Dr. Harrison, my orthopedic surgeon, showed me the images and explained the situation in terms I could understand. The disc was pressing on my spinal nerves. If left untreated, it could cause permanent nerve damage. I could lose feeling in my leg. I could lose the ability to walk normally. The solution was surgery, specifically a microdiscectomy. Dr. Harrison said it was a common procedure with a high success rate, but it needed to happen sooner rather than later. The longer we waited, the higher the risk of irreversible damage. When he told me the cost, I felt a knot form in my stomach. Even with insurance, my out-of-pocket expenses would be around $25,000. But then I remembered our emergency fund. This was exactly what we had been saving for. A medical crisis. An unexpected health issue that required immediate attention. I felt relieved knowing we had prepared for this moment. That night I told Megan about the surgery and the cost. She held my hand and promised she would be by my side through everything. She said we would get through this together. I scheduled the surgery for 3 months out, giving us time to prepare and giving me time to arrange coverage at work. For those first few weeks after the diagnosis, everything seemed normal. Megan was supportive and caring. She would rub my back when the pain was bad. She would pick up my prescriptions from the pharmacy. She would remind me to do my stretches. I felt lucky to have her. I thought I had married the right woman. I had no idea what was coming. Megan has a younger sister named Brianna. She is 27 years old and she has always been the baby of the family. Their mother, Patricia, retired a few years ago and has always doted on Brianna. From what I could tell, Brianna was used to getting what she wanted. She worked as a receptionist at a dental office, and her boyfriend Kyle was a car salesman. Neither of them made particularly good money, but that never seemed to bother Brianna. She had expensive taste and big dreams. About 4 months before my scheduled surgery, Brianna got engaged. Kyle proposed at some fancy restaurant downtown, and Brianna immediately started planning the wedding of her dreams. And when I say dreams, I mean the kind of wedding you see in magazines. She wanted it at a beachfront resort in San Diego. She wanted 300 guests. She wanted a designer dress, a live band, and a honeymoon in Europe. The estimated cost was over $60,000. Now Kyle and Brianna definitely could not afford that. And Patricia, living on her retirement savings, did not have that kind of money either. But Brianna was determined. She had been dreaming about this wedding her whole life, she said. She deserved to have her special day exactly the way she wanted it. I remember Megan coming home one evening talking excitedly about all the wedding plans, the venue, the flowers, the cake. I listened politely, but something in the back of my mind wondered how they were going to pay for all of this. When I asked Megan, she said Kyle was planning to take out a loan. That seemed reasonable, I suppose. People finance weddings all the time. I did not think much more about it. But then I started noticing things. Small things at first. Megan would be on the phone with her mother or sister, and when I walked into the room, she would lower her voice or end the conversation quickly. She started going out more often, saying she was helping Brianna with wedding errands, shopping for decorations, meeting with vendors, trying on bridesmaid dresses. One night I woke up around 2 in the morning to use the bathroom and Megan was not in bed. I found her in the living room typing rapidly on her phone. When she saw me, she jumped and quickly put the phone face down on the couch. I asked her what she was doing. She said she could not sleep and was just texting Brianna about some last-minute wedding details. I wanted to believe her. I did believe her. Why would my wife lie to me? But there were other signs I should have paid attention to. Megan seemed distant. When I tried to talk about my upcoming surgery, she would change the subject. She stopped asking how I was feeling. She seemed preoccupied, always thinking about something else. I told myself she was just stressed about the wedding. Her sister was getting married. It was a big deal. I tried to be understanding. 2 weeks before my surgery date, I decided to check our savings account. I needed to make sure we had everything in order. I needed to confirm the funds were there so I could schedule the final payment with the hospital. I logged into our bank account expecting to see a balance of around $38,000. The number on the screen made my heart stop. $942. I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity. That could not be right. There had to be some mistake. Maybe I was looking at the wrong account. Maybe there was a glitch in the system. My hands were shaking as I called the bank. The customer service representative confirmed everything. Over the past 2 months, $37,000 had been withdrawn from our joint savings account. Multiple transactions, multiple withdrawals, all authorized by Megan. I felt like I was going to throw up. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. There had to be an explanation. Maybe her identity was stolen. Maybe someone hacked into our account. I kept searching for any reason other than the obvious one. I tried calling Megan. No answer. I called again. Still nothing. I left the house and drove home as fast as I could, my back screaming in pain the entire way. When I pulled into our driveway, I saw her car. She was home. I walked through the front door and found her in the bedroom. She was standing in front of the mirror wearing a lavender bridesmaid dress, admiring herself. Shopping bags from expensive stores were scattered across the bed. She turned and smiled when she saw me. Then she noticed the look on my face. I asked her about the money. My voice was calm, but barely. I asked her where $37,000 had gone. Her smile disappeared. She looked down at the floor. She did not say anything for a long moment. Then she admitted it. She had given the money to Brianna, for the wedding, for the venue deposit, for the catering, for the flowers, for all of it. She said Brianna needed help, and she could not say no to her own sister. I asked her how she could do this without telling me, how she could take our emergency fund money we had spent 5 years saving, money we agreed was only for true emergencies, money I needed for my surgery. She looked at me with an expression I had never seen before. It was not guilt. It was not remorse. It was almost defiance. And then she said the words I will never forget. "You can wait. It is her special day. Your surgery can be rescheduled." I stood there in our bedroom staring at the woman I had been married to for 7 years, and I felt like I was seeing her for the first time. The Megan I knew would never have done this. The Megan I loved would never have looked me in the eyes and told me that my health could wait because her sister wanted a fancy wedding. I asked her if she understood what she was saying. I reminded her what Dr. Harrison had told us. The nerve damage, the risk of permanent disability. This was not a minor inconvenience. This was my ability to walk to work, to live a normal life. She rolled her eyes. Actually rolled her eyes at me. She said I was being dramatic. She said doctors always exaggerate to scare patients into unnecessary procedures. She said I could wait a few more months until they could pay me back. Brianna would return the money after the wedding, she promised. Maybe not all of it right away, but eventually. Eventually. That word hit me like a punch to the gut. Eventually, while my spine deteriorated. Eventually, while I lost feeling in my leg. Eventually, while my life fell apart. I asked her how long she had been planning this. How long she had been lying to me. She admitted she had been thinking about it for months. Ever since Brianna got engaged and started talking about the wedding she wanted. Megan knew Kyle could not get a loan big enough. She knew Patricia did not have the money. And she knew that we did. She had watched me save that money. She had contributed to it herself. And all along she was planning to give it away to her sister without even asking me. That night Patricia called. I thought maybe she was calling to apologize. Maybe she did not know where the money had come from. Maybe she was horrified by what her daughter had done. I was wrong. Patricia told me I was being selfish. She said family helps family. She said Brianna had been dreaming of this wedding since she was a little girl, and I was trying to ruin it because of some back pain. She actually called it some back pain. A herniated disc pressing on my spinal nerves, and she dismissed it like I had a minor muscle ache. She told me I needed to be a better husband, that Megan deserved a partner who supported her family, that I should be grateful they were even willing to pay me back eventually. I hung up the phone without saying goodbye. Then Brianna sent me a text message. I expected an apology, some acknowledgement that what happened was wrong. Instead, she thanked me for my contribution to her wedding. She said she always knew I was a generous person, and she could not wait to celebrate with everyone. She ended the message with a heart emoji. A heart emoji. Like she had not just taken money I needed to keep me from becoming disabled. Like she had not just smiled and accepted my savings while knowing exactly where it came from and why I needed it. I slept on the couch that night. I could not even look at Megan. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice. "You can wait. It is her special day." The next morning, I called Dr. Harrison's office and canceled my surgery. I did not have the money. I could not afford the procedure. The receptionist asked if I wanted to reschedule, and I said I did not know when that would be possible. She paused for a moment, then told me to please take care of myself. There was genuine concern in her voice, more concern than my own wife had shown me. Over the next few weeks, my condition got worse. The pain that used to come and go became constant. I had to increase my pain medication just to get through the day. Some mornings I could not stand up without holding on to something. I started working from home full-time because I could not handle the commute. Through all of this, Megan acted like nothing was wrong. She was busy with wedding preparations, dress fittings, bachelorette party planning, choosing centerpieces. She would come home late, exhausted from a day of helping her sister, and barely acknowledge me sitting on the couch, grimacing in pain. One evening I asked her if she even cared about what was happening to me. She sighed like I was being a burden. She said I always found something to complain about. She said I was trying to make her feel guilty. She said she was tired of walking on eggshells around me. Walking on eggshells. While I could barely walk at all. That was the moment I realized the truth. I was not a partner to her. I was not even a priority. I was a resource, a bank account with legs. And now that the bank account was empty, she had no use for me. 2 weeks later, the pain became unbearable. I woke up in the middle of the night, unable to move my left leg. The numbness had spread from my foot all the way up to my hip. I was terrified. I called for Megan, but she did not answer. She was not home. Another late night helping Brianna with something. I managed to get my phone and call 911. The ambulance came and they took me to the emergency room. I spent hours waiting, being examined, having tests run. Finally, a doctor came in with the results. The herniated disc had worsened significantly. They needed to operate as soon as possible. If they did not, there was a high chance of permanent paralysis. Lying in that hospital bed alone and scared, I made a decision. I was done. I was done being treated like I did not matter. I was done being married to someone who valued a party over my ability to walk. I called my father Kevin. We had not talked as much as we should have over the years, but he was always there when I needed him. When I told him what had happened, he was silent for a long moment. Then he said he was getting on the next flight to Phoenix. I also called my best friend Danny. We had been close since college, but life had gotten in the way and we had drifted apart. When he heard my voice, he knew something was wrong. I told him everything. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said one thing. "I have got you, brother. Whatever you need." Danny offered to help pay for the surgery. My father said the same thing. Between the two of them, they would cover the costs. I tried to argue, but they would not hear it. "This is what family does," my father said. "Real family." The difference was not lost on me. My wife's family had taken everything from me and called me selfish. My real family was emptying their savings to help me survive. That same day, still lying in my hospital bed, I made another call. I found a divorce attorney named Linda Marsh. She came to the hospital to meet with me. I told her everything. She took notes, asked questions, and told me I had every right to protect myself. I signed the divorce papers from my hospital bed. My hand was shaking, but my mind was clear. This was the right decision, the only decision. Megan finally showed up at the hospital that evening. The wedding was the next day, and she had been at the rehearsal dinner. She walked into my room with a look of mild inconvenience on her face, like I had interrupted her schedule by being hospitalized. Then she saw the papers on the table beside my bed. She picked them up and read them. Her face went white. She asked me what I was doing. She said I could not be serious. She said we could work this out, that she would find a way to pay me back, that her family was just stressed about the wedding and everyone would calm down afterward. I looked at her and said something I had been thinking for weeks. "You made your choice. I made mine." She started crying. She begged me to reconsider. She said she loved me. She said she never meant to hurt me. She said Brianna's wedding was just so important and she got caught up in wanting to help her sister, and she did not realize how serious my condition was. But she did know. I had told her. The doctors had told her. She chose not to listen. She chose to believe what was convenient. She chose her sister over me. I told her to leave. She stood there for a moment, tears running down her face, still wearing her fancy outfit from the rehearsal dinner. Then she turned and walked out. The wedding happened the next day. I was in surgery. While Brianna was walking down the aisle in her dream venue by the beach, doctors were cutting into my spine to prevent me from becoming paralyzed. I think that says everything about where I ranked in that family's priorities. The surgery was successful. Dr. Harrison said we caught it just in time. A few more weeks and the damage might have been irreversible. I spent 6 weeks recovering, doing physical therapy, slowly regaining strength in my leg. My father stayed with me for the first 2 weeks. Danny came by almost every day. I had more visitors in that recovery period than I had in years. Megan tried to contact me several times. Calls, texts, emails. Patricia called too, suddenly apologetic now that she realized I was serious about the divorce. Brianna sent a long message saying she was sorry, that she never meant for things to go this far, that she hoped we could all move past this. I did not respond to any of them. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. We sold the house and split what little remained of our shared assets. Megan got her half. I got my freedom. I moved into a small apartment closer to the city. It is nothing fancy. 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, barely enough space for my furniture. But it is mine. And for the first time in a long time, I feel at peace. My back still bothers me sometimes. There are days when the pain reminds me of everything I went through. But I am walking. I am working. I am living my life on my own terms. I do not hate Megan. I used to think I did, but hatred takes too much energy. What I feel now is something closer to clarity. She showed me who she was, and I finally believed her. She taught me that love is not just words. It is not just promises made on a wedding day. Love is showing up when things are hard. Love is choosing your partner even when it is inconvenient. Love is sacrifice. She was not capable of that, and maybe she never was. Some people come into your life to teach you what love is not. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from someone you still care about because you finally learned to care about yourself more. I am still learning that lesson every day, but I am getting there, one step at a time. If you have ever been in a situation where someone you trusted let you down, I want to hear your story. Leave a comment below and let me know. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice to protect yourself? How did you find the strength to walk away? If this story touched you, please give it a like. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to this channel so you do not miss future stories. And remember, you deserve to be with people who choose you, not just when it is easy, but especially when it is hard. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, and never forget your own worth.